You are listening to The Thought Leaders Show with the world's cutting-edge, hottest innovators, influencers, and impact makers today. If you are looking for inspiration and motivation, listen in. Welcome to The Thought Leaders Show. Now, here's your host.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce today's guest, Rasheeda Omolade-Sule. She is author, coach, speaker, trainer, TV celebrity chef, mother of 3 amazing Tasmanian angels, and a wife of 16 years. At the age of 13, Rasheeda's parents took her to Nigeria to learn about her family's native culture. She noticed that men worked and women had light businesses of their choice, but mainly took care of the home. Coming back to the USA at the age of 15, she noticed that other than her mom and dad, her aunts and uncles and most of their friends' parents lived separately. She would hear the term single mother a lot and wondered what kept her parents together and what caused others to be separated. Since then, Rasheeda has been on a journey of finding out what cultivates a happy marriage. Welcome, Rasheeda.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
That really is an interesting concept, and to think that at age 15 you were like, I wonder why my mother and father still live together, but all of my aunties and uncles and all these other people live separately, and why are there so many single mothers? And to start to put 2 and 2 together at a young age is very interesting. So tell me, what have you discovered about the marriage culture?
Well, while I was in Nigeria, thank you so much, Tamara, for that. While I was in Nigeria, I felt, as a little girl, I felt so protected. I felt, guided. I felt like the family was that first community that a person, that a child needed, and the child grew with a very, very open mind, and it was a norm. It looked really normal. It felt really good. And when I came back to the United States from Nigeria, I felt that again with living with my parents and my siblings. But when I went out and played with my friends, that was not the same for them. Their dad was not around. Mom was always busy. Mom was always working. They didn't do as well in school. They would always want to come over my house to have a meal, a dinner. So I used to always wonder, like, this is not good. This is not good. I have friends that, why weren't they doing well in school? For me, it was easy to get the A's because if dad is not around, mom is always making sure that after school we did our homework. And when mom was not around, dad was always, asking questions about, so how's your school? What are you doing? So from there, I got that sense and that the feeling within myself, and that when I grow up, I wanted that sense. I wanted my children to have that sense of security and the sense of, I don't have to a sense of being. I think that's what I've gotten when being young, and that's what I wanted my children to have. So a couple of years ago is when maybe like 10, 15 years ago, is when I really, really said to myself that I need to go out there. I need to educate women, and just to let them know that there's nothing wrong with having your own thing going on. But the most important thing is, if you do ever decide that you want to have children and you want to be married, the children come, you come first, but then the children comes first as well. You have to put everything on the line just to make sure that they have that sense of security, that sense of, well-being. And I've been on that journey ever since, and it's been great. It really has been great.
Everything that you're saying makes perfect sense to me, because obviously if you're going to have children, and I was a single mom for a long time, and I mean, that was a choice I made because the person I had two of my children with was not anyone that I would or should have married. I knew that, very early in the relationship, but I'd already had the two kids by the time I really figured it out. And I stuck around for 20 years, kind of waiting for him to change, and it never happened.
Oh my God. Wow.
What you've done is, you actually, I wanted to focus on a few things in the short time that we have together. And there are three things that you think are really important. And one is a wife and her me time, a wife and her relationship with her spouse, and then, of course, the benefits of having a happy wife in a family. And if you could, kind of just go through that. You've already touched on, think about it. If your kids are secure and you have a parent who's there, they can get better grades. That's a big, a big thing. And children with two parents, obviously they have two parents instead of one. So all of that responsibility is spread out over two at least. So let's talk a little bit more about the wife and the me time, and how important is that?
It's extremely important, because what I also noticed in my years of counseling and coaching marriages and wives in particular is that I see that a lot of them lose themselves. They now make their children their God, is how I see it. It's about the children's game. It's about the children's this. It's about the children's that. And I just have to tell them to slow down. What about you? What about you? Who is caring for you? So I have to let them know that you have to have your time. It's called my time, mommy's time. Let your husband know it's called my wifey's time. It's your time. You have to have your day where you can just do nothing or do whatever it is that you love to do. So when interviewing them or in, sitting down with them or even over the phone, I have a paper, a slip that I would ask them, what is it that they enjoy doing? Some would say they love the mall. Some would say they just want to lay in a tub full of soapy water, candles around, and do nothing. Then do that. Do that. We have to be able to find ourselves, because in finding ourselves is the way that we can give the best of ourselves to our children or to our spouse. That's why I got wife and me time. You have to have your me time.
So tell me more about the wife-spouse relationship. And again, I'm one of those people, like, I don't really have any role models. My parents were married, but a long time, but I can't honestly say they were good role models. They fought a lot. And then, of course, I went the opposite extreme, married and divorced at a very young age. And then I was a single mom for my entire adult life. And now I'm a single mom grandma, so I don't even know what a good relationship looks like.
Wow. It's so funny that you would say that, because a lot of people don't have a good role model in their life. And this is another thing that I'm trying to put out there is that if we have a group of more wives, happy wives, that know exactly what to do. In my group, we had people that have been married 30-something years, 20-something years, 10, 5 years, and we learn from each other. And the thing about that is that we want to be able to spread the happy wife, happy life all around the globe so that people can see that role model that they don't see every day or they didn't grow up knowing. And I realized, because my mom, she worked very hard. She worked hard too, but the importance of making sure that she was there for the children, she was there for her husband. Her and my dad had their time. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's cool. And my grandma and my grandpa, they had their time. Even though grandpa had many wives, but he had his time with my grandma, and I always felt that that was very, very important. So early in my marriage, when me and my husband got married, we would always try to either get a nanny on the Friday and go out to a movie and spend our time together. We go out to a movie, we have dinner, and then when we come back, the children, oh, no, mommy, okay, it's time for you guys to get to bed. Honey, you get that one, let me get this one. And we put them to sleep, and then while we're in our bed, we're still having our time. So that's the time that I give to my husband. It could be the Friday night. The Saturday would be for the family again. Sunday, go to church and come back still doing for the family again. So it has to be balanced. And if we don't balance this life, at the end of the day, the person that is actually the strongest in the marriage and in the home now becomes so weak and fragile that it's hard for her to just balance everything out. So a wife must have a balanced life with herself, her spouse, her relationship with people, and we're just hoping that we can be a real positive role model to other wives that are coming along.
You actually have a book coming out in November called Happy Wife, Happy Life. So
yes, I do.
Tell me more about that and get a little deeper into the benefits of why a happy wife makes a happy life.
The book is coming out in November. I'm so excited about that book and it's just the first edition, because I didn't want to wear anyone out with having huge books. I'm just having real small, 8 topics, about maybe just 8 to 10 pages per each topic. And in that book, it's talking about how, a woman, a wife in particular, is the most important person in the family. The most important, the strongest person in the family. She's the heart of the family. She keeps it all together. When a man, and then there I have a session where I talk to men as well, because a lot of men are also asking me, how can they make their wife happy? Really? Okay. Date her again. How about that? How about getting into dating her again? Because when we date, everyone is on cloud 9. Everyone is happy. You have to do that again. You can't look at her as, oh, that's Brandon's mom. Oh, yeah, that's my wife. That's my children's mother. No. She is your girlfriend. She is your wife. She is your partner. She's everything. So once you make her happy with knowing what makes her happy and doing it, trying your best to just do it, then everything else will work out. Because we are the one who takes on so many tasks. We have so many things to do. We're the cook. We're the nanny. We're the this. So if a man can just give us their love completely, give us the time that we need from them, help us out with the children, help us out with homework for the children, help us out with whatever it is that we need help with. It helps us to become it helps a wife to become a better wife. And in her becoming a better wife and her being happy, it exuberates around, and I don't even know how to, it just makes people around her extremely happy. It makes people around her happy to be around her. It's not like she's sitting down and complaining to other mothers. Oh, Lord. So the benefit of making a woman happy is that everyone around her are able to be happy. She's able to be happy. And it's just a blessing. It's a blessing because I knew growing up that when my mom is sad or she's unhappy, everything shuts down. Nothing else is going to happen. That's it. She'll tell you, go to the kitchen, go find something in the fridge to eat. It's not, and I understand that sometimes we have to have that time, but I noticed that if she gets like that, Daddy has done something. Something is not right. What happened to Mommy? But if a man has it in his mind that, or he's texting his wife during the day, or he's sending her, messages during the day, by the time he gets home, he will meet a happy wife. He will meet sometimes cooked meal. He will meet happy children. And once he's in that atmosphere, there's no way that he will not just naturally fall into being a happy person. But if he gets home to a grouchy wife, and the children are running around like just all over the place, and he's had his long day where he is just done. When he gets home, it's not going to look good. And from there it can cause so many outrageous things. So the book goes extremely in depth of the wife and her me time, the wife and her spouse, the wife and the children. And it also goes into her career as well, if she chooses to have that, either from home or from outside. So I'm extremely, extremely excited. A lot of people are waiting for it to come out so they can get digging in it and learning, different concepts of how to make that work in their own life. And I can't wait. I'm excited.
I'm excited about that because you've got number one, who wouldn't want to pick up a book called Happy Wife, Happy Life? I mean, it's very intriguing. And as you were describing it really does make a lot of sense because our families are, women sometimes don't get as much credit as they deserve for everything that they do in the course of a day. I remember the joke used to be about being called the domestic engineer.
Wow.
Back in the day, and or women who would be stay-at-home moms, and then of course they would try to go back into the workforce, and it'd be like, well, you don't have any experience, and it's like, whoa, wait a second here. You have so many transferable skills if you ran a household that it's just amazing. And the idea also of, being that family unit of being a couple and having children and just creating that happy life is so important. So if somebody wants to find out more information and work with you, how can they do that?
They can actually email me at Rasheeda. Email me at Rasheeda at marriedletstalk.com. They can also call me 917-554-6571. On my Facebook page is Married Let's Talk on Facebook. And on Instagram, it's also Happy Wife, Happy Life.
Okay, great. So on Instagram, Happy Wife, Happy Life, Rasheeda at Married Let's Talk. And the cool thing is in the show notes, I'll have all these hot links so that you can just click on it and connect with Rasheeda. And when you work with people, you mentioned groups. Do you do like group coaching, one-on-one? How do you actually work with people?
I do both, actually. I do both. Right now, we have groups in Georgia. We have groups in New York. We have groups in Maryland and Virginia. And what they do is that they meet up once a month. And, and Saturday a month, they actually, the host, wherever they're being hosted or whoever's hosting them, give the hours for them to be there. It can be Saturday at 11 a.m. in the morning, and they come and mingle together. That can be another one of their mommy time or me time. And when they come together, we sit down. Sometimes if it's out of state, they'll call me. And I'll just welcome everyone. And a lot of the women that are hosting it in their state or the cities, I have an 8-week session that I go through with them on things that we need to teach. And we just come together and they talk. And a lot of them never want to leave. It's like a 2-3 hour thing, but many of them they stay longer. And we have a lot of food that we take back home to the spouse and the children. So that makes it a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like when my dad used to go to the Elks and he'd bring me a hamburger and milkshake when he came home.
Wow. Don't you look forward to that, though?
Yeah. Well, Rasheeda, thank you so much. I really learned a lot. And obviously, we need you because not everybody has good role models, and I'm a prime example. So I really appreciate all the time you took with me today.
Thank you so much, Tamara, for having me.
This is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been listening to the Thought Leaders Show. To get all past shows and to get all future shows, go to thoughtleadersshow.com.